The following is a presentation of TFNN.
Okay. When does this fade out? There it goes. Okay. My word. I guess I need to extend my intro out here. I forget. Boy, that goes a while. Anyway, this is Dave White sitting in for the one and only Steve Rhodes. Steve Rhodes is having internet problems. I think they have ointments, salves, and lotions for that. But no quotes, no quotey, no showy is what he says. And so I'm going to sit in for him in the first hour. And if he still has problems with the digits coming across the ether, he will be shown. I think we've got Basil ready to sit in for him also. So we'll have a 1-2 punch here early in the morning. Every day I have a daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, and I've got a special on that right now. But one of the things I do every morning is have a charts. And these charts are what I'm looking at in the broader market. We can look at the indexes, or we can go deep inside the market. We can do a little colonoscopy. And I guess I need to practice saying that word. It's not a word you say every day. But you can go in deep inside and check out what's going on inside the market. We're going to do that this morning and get right to it by looking at a lot of charts about what is going on. If you've listened to my show, I'm looking for some kind of bounce into the 1780, 1790 range over the next few days, and we'll see how that works. We've got fair value up about 225. You need to actually pull that out of the futures. So we're going to probably open up 2.5 points on the open, at least in the S&P cash. In the meantime, we're going to go through as many of these charts as we can to give you an idea of what may be bouncing out here, if I am correct, and we are going to see a bigger bounce. Before the open, we had a lot of noise coming out from the equivalent of the Fed in the EU. And they're basically back to saying, and we'll do whatever it takes to keep everything going. And you know what? We've avoided QE, but hey, maybe we can do our own QE of our own out here. And that is, I think, at least having a little tepid move on the U.S. stock market. I think we were going to probably open a little bit higher, but now everybody's saying, well, that's going to probably mean the dollar is higher, which is mean the exports of the U.S. is going to be a little less, and we've got a little tepid bounce out here, at least at the morning. We've got some big stocks moving like Green Mountain, but if you watch TV in the last 24 hours, it's been handled ad nauseum. I don't think that there's a lot of money to be made there for people jumping in this morning. We've got payrolls in the morning tomorrow, and I think the market probably is going to see a little bit of a rally on those numbers tomorrow, and we're going to be looking for a slightly upward bias through Wednesday of next week. At least that's what I'm looking for. So with no further ado, we can get started on some of these charts. In the meantime, if you would like, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Yesterday in the afternoon in the den, we were going through all the charts that looked like they'd hit support. I've got a great deal more after I did my scan last night. Again, these are in my daily newsletter most mornings. One of the ones that kind of caught my eye was ADM out here, supermarket to the world. There's some nice gaps that we've had out here. We've had some little hammer candles. Unfortunately, on ADM, it is on higher volume, but we may have found a little bit of support at these levels. And, of course, the energy coming down from this last high out here has been fairly decent. From September 30th, we basically had a pretty much straight shot down with some decent energy. which gives me a little pause out here. Some of the other stocks that are coming back and hitting these gaps that started moves back up are Alliance Data Systems, ADS. Not a lot to hang your hat on this one, but certainly these things have come back and at least tagged some of these open gaps that were out in the marketplace. Ones that look more interesting to me right now, maybe getting set up for the ABC down, but at least a bounce over the next few days, seems to be these pharmaceutical and biotech stocks that were hot as a rocket over the last few months and weeks. How's this pronounced? Alerion Pharmaceuticals, AEGR, had a nice gap up, and that gap up happened back on the, May 16th of last year. This thing has been working off on that. Came back and tried to test it on June 24th with 1.1 million shares at 56.86. We went below that and through that on January 27th, and this thing's been kind of moving out here sideways. So I'm going to start watching some of these. That's going to be one of the ones that I'm going to watch on how it's opening today. We've got some others out here trying to buck the highs, even in a market that's been down. Advanced Energy Industries, AEIS, is one of these. This thing, even across the last few days, couldn't be repulsed. So we're going to see how this opens this morning. AEIS, very interesting. 2.2 million shares is what you really need to get this thing to break out. $26.55 on the November 5th high. This thing just keeps hanging around out here. So another one that I'm going to be watching through the day today. AGN, what else we have out here? This is interesting. Alon USA Energy. This one gapped up on the 9th of December on almost 1.4 million shares. It's done exactly what it should have done, gone right up to a previous gap out here. It's come back down, though, and yesterday we got into that gap with 480,000 shares. And, of course, these energy stocks have not been the strongest, and ever since some of these companies in the energy sector have come out and talked about problems with the crack spread. Thank you, Andy Heck. We have seen it, but we certainly are in to some of these moves on lighter volume. And on this one, that 9th of December move with 1.4 million shares, we came into it yesterday with 480,000 shares. I'm more than willing to keep an eye on something that is back on 1/3 of the volume. Let's see what else we have out here. Some of these are a little bit better. Oh, as I was talking about pharmaceuticals that have been nothing but rockets. Another one that has come back into the gap on lighter volume was Cadence Pharmaceuticals. CADX is the symbol on that. What I'm really looking at here is this last gap up on the 13th of December. It happened on 1.8 million shares, almost 1.9 million shares. Certainly back into that gap yesterday on, pretty much, I'm going to say it filled it for me on 750,000 shares. So some of these, what do we got? 1050 probably on that, 1075. Maybe these things over the next week try to make a run back up at these highs. Maybe we start seeing volume actually come back in them. Again, some of these stocks up at highs, not giving us the kind of indication we'd like, but certainly Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation, COG. Now, when we look at the last major high on this, September 3rd, 3.5 million shares. What do we get this morning? Well, yesterday we get, or the day before, we get 8 million shares. Kind of reverses, tucks back down under that level with less, but we certainly have challenged that high on higher volume. So this is another one that is probably going to be worth taking an eye and looking at it fairly hard. Some of these stocks that have been the walking dead forever have broken back out, especially in this alternative power sector. Capstone Turbine Corporation is one of those, CPST. Haven't looked at these things in years, and some of these like Ballard Power, some of these other stocks that ran years ago on the first run of alternative energy has been showing a little bit of life. It looks right around this 145 to 152 level. There's several major highs on decent volume. The July 24th one is the one I'm keying off of here at $1.52 with 11 million shares. And, of course, we came in and through that yesterday with 5.5 million shares and pretty much got below the October 28th high that had 5.7 million shares. So you still have a little bit less out here, but a lot of these look like they're really kind of moving out. One of the tigers in the den is always on top of me about Cray. This is a supercomputer company, and it is one of the better ones out here. I mean, if we're looking at stocks that could potentially go back and grab the previous highs here over the next few days before this market rolls over. Cray is one that I'm looking at. Took off like a snot rocket on the 7th of January with almost 2 million shares. And this thing has done exactly what you would like it to do in a standard Wyckoff pattern, and that's come back on a lighter volume. We got into it yesterday, made a little hammer candle. So maybe it's hammer time. But it's hard to say. But look at this one this morning and see how it opens here in the next 10 minutes or so. Dan the man. Dana Holding. This thing's had a huge gap that's acted as a support, and this is the third major pullback into this major gap at the $18 level. First time on October 30th, 6.9 million shares, 4.6 million shares now on December 18th. 3.7 million shares yesterday, or the day before. So keep an eye on these. We'll be back in a moment.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or TigerTV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. With the launch of TigerTV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With TigerTV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on TigerTV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out TigerTV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter,
Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Investors, Taz Market Research delivers to its subscribers expert commentary on the analysis of 15 different markets each day. Get this invaluable and timely information through the daily market research videos Taz Market Research produces each day before 9 a.m. The video analysis will include reports on currencies, interest rates, indices, metals, energies, grains, and more. You'll be able to gauge where high profitability setups are in each of the markets. Receive a free 2-week trial subscription to Taz Market Research videos on the front page of TFNN.com. Steve takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome, traders. This is Dave White sitting in for the one and only Steve. And we're going to be covering this hour. As soon as Steve gets his internet connections and his quotes back up, he'll be right back on. And if not, we're going to get a double shot of a probably an F wave from our one and only Mr. Wave Counter guy. So anyway, what do we have going on in this market, at least for the open? One, Disney's going to be up a couple of bucks. General Motors looks like it's going to be under pressure. Anybody that listens to my show in the afternoon knows that one of the reasons that General Motors got to its high was the reimposition of subprime loans pushed by the government. They wanted to get out of their shares of General Motors and made a deal to get out of them. And, of course, as soon as they got out of them, pretty much the money is drying up for those horrible subprime loans on cars. But they can get it up. So our own government is actively, at least in my opinion, manipulating the market so they could get out of it. But what do we have? That is that where they couldn't manipulate the numbers, Europe continually coming in weak, and, of course, blaming the weather on pretty much in the last 60 days for dropping sales, at least not strengthening sales here in the United States. But watch for this thing below 33.50. Pretty much sure this thing's going back to about 26 bucks. It was all smoke and mirrors. And, if you want to get into a stock, I would say I would wait for Ford to come back. It's certainly the strongest of the U.S. manufacturers out here. General Motors has a lot of problems. None of these are going to be solved very quickly. Anyway, we continue. We were talking about Dana Holdings. And let's get back here and just look real quick. Dana basically makes driveline products for vehicle technology. So maybe we are going to see some kind of a bottom in here. I'll be interested to see how this holds up through General Motors coming out here this morning. Other stocks of interest that I am watching, Indologics, I think, is another one of these biopharmaceutical stocks. It's getting into its September 30th low that had 640,000 shares. And it's going to be kind of light. It had a couple of days ago, 360,000 shares. So certainly one of these that are testing lows on half the volume. Compata Pananese Energy and ELP for the symbol out here. Let's go ahead and read the profile on this one too, just so we know. engages in the generation, transmission, distribution, and sale of electricity primarily to industrial, residential, and commercial and rural customers in the state of Brazil. 18 hydroelectric plants, that kind of stuff. So maybe we're seeing a low out here also in the Brazilian market, but certainly the last low out here, June 24th at 11 bucks, 1.7 million shares, with half that over the last couple of days. So we'll see if any of these start showing signs of intelligent life. Everbank bank stocks haven't been doing this great. This thing has got several highs in the high 16 level, and some of them with as much as 4.6 million shares. So this one is underneath it, EVER. And it started to have a little bounce yesterday. Watch this if it can get back above $17.24. Would be looking at that. Singapore Index Funds, EWS on this one. Another one that is coming back, dipped under the high volume low of June 20th. At $12.07. Looks like it closed back above it the last 2 days. So we want to watch and see how these ones react. But certainly the volume hasn't been anywhere near the 11 million shares. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, February 3rd, 3.9 million shares in this ETF. So we want to be watching some of these out here. Another one that's come back into its lows on lighter volume. Two massive gaps down. But we do have a gap, and we do have several lows in this area on a high volume, and that is Express, EXPR. Always interesting to see when these stocks quit going down, at least for a short amount of time. And this would be another one that I'm watching out here. Ooh, we're going to break again. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
With over 3 decades of trading experience, Andy Hecht brings a tremendous amount of knowledge and expertise to each weekly issue of his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. The Technomental Commodity Report gives you Andy's unique technomental analysis of the commodities market, a combination of technicals and fundamental analysis which he has developed and perfected over his many years of trading. The Technomental Commodity Report is only $49 a month, and right now you can get a full month-long trial subscription while paying absolutely nothing. See for yourself the kind of weekly report Andy delivers to his subscribers every Thursday morning. You'll receive specific stock, ETF, and option trades based on Andy's analysis, so no futures account is required. For all the details and to start your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, visit TFNN.com today. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Wow. And they're off. We'll have to see how these markets are doing. And Dow's up 72. Gold's up $2. Silver's up 17.5 cents. What else do we have going on out here? S&P, a little better open than I thought, 7.5 points. So we'll be watching this closely over the next 25 minutes until my segment is over. We're going through as many charts as we can this morning, and I am looking for a bounce. That does not mean I'm going to buy this bounce. We've had a significant pullback with heavy volume, and I'm waiting to see whether or not there's anything worth buying out here, and that means that we're going to need a volume and strength. I don't think we're going to get it. I think we're going to go up to 1780, 1790, maybe 1795, and this market's going to run out of steam, and we're going to be setting up an ABC down to the 1670 area. But I'm always willing to change my opinion if the facts change, but at the moment I am speculating that that's what's going to happen, and I don't want to be out here on ice that's maybe 6 inches thick, but the weather's starting to warm, and I'm starting to hear that ice crack, and maybe it's only 3 or 2 inches in some spots, but I certainly am not out here standing on 6 feet of ice after minus 10 for 3 weeks, and having a lot of belief that I couldn't put a foot in the wrong area, and drowned a miserable existence going lower very quickly, especially when we start seeing things like that discussion this morning from the EU about going full tilt boogie on the QE. Almost sounds strangely homoerotic there. Anyway, we've got other things going on in the marketplace. Of course, everybody's going to be talking about Green Mountain, and probably a teachable moment at looking at squeezes. Soda was down overnight. I think it's opening up a little higher out here. And, of course, probably not a bad deal with Green Mountain. The thought has always been that soda or SodaStream wasn't selling the Coke brand or the Pepsi brand by selling their cola-like flavors. And with this deal, the thought is that you're going to be able to get a SodaStream-like experience with the actual flavors of Coca-Cola, and that probably is going to put the hurt somewhat on soda for a while, but going to bounce probably here this morning. And long-term Green Mountain coffee roasters, I don't exactly understand why Coca-Cola just didn't do it themselves. I think that they could have done a better job, but for whatever reason, bought 10% of it. But you've got a 30% short interest. Now that interest probably has come off a little bit because you're going into earnings. Remember, when we get reported short interest, at the best, it is probably 18 days old. At the worst, it can be 22 days old. And especially if people are very smart on Wall Street, which they are, they can do it in an interim time frame, i.e. Report their short sales of a particular stock. But what is, I think, popular on Wall Street is to do it during the time frame, during the reporting, and do it the day after. And you could actually get a full month in pretty much before you find out what the true short interest is on those stocks. And, of course, you pull it back before the next reporting cycle. But because of the vagaries that it works, in the old days, you only got it once a month. And, of course, everybody decided it was time to get it up to 2 weeks a month. But the way that they wrote, the way that FINRA gets the data is being gamed, I believe, by the big guys on Wall Street. And sometimes, if they do it right, they can be highly short or cover without you knowing for up to probably almost 3.5 weeks. I'm going to say a month. But just remember that is way in the rear view mirror when you look at those numbers. I think it's probably a few percentage lower when people go up and look at Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. Still, if it's 25%, there's a lot of people that are going to hate it. And one of the good reasons to use options, especially on these highly volatile stocks going into earnings. But I wanted to look at Gin Corp. GY is the symbol on this one. Like I said, with so many of these stocks out here, we're sitting on support. Let's just take a quick look and see if we've got a quote. Yeah, it's up 2 cents. Gin Corp. GY is the symbol on this one. Had a nice move up that's left a lot of gaps up here. Did get higher. You've got a higher volume high, although it was a dime lower than the previous high from November 29th, which was 1850. Got to 1840 on January 15th. This thing started to pull back. We're back at the gap, and, of course, you've got some energy back in this thing. But the one that really I talked about in the den yesterday that I thought was so important was IBM. And the reason was that IBM was skipping along these lows at 172. And somebody asked me last week what an exhaustion move is. And it is exactly what we see at a huge volume day, huge intraday move, and most of the time that makes a stock go sideways. We didn't get that in IBM on the 10th or on the 17th of October, but it did set up this wide trading range and move and a bottom out here from 172.57. We've gone into it with 7.5 million shares on December 16th and 7.1 million shares yesterday. And that's probably a fairly decent indication that we're going to find at least some short-term moves in it, up 81 cents this morning. But as we do our internal medicine on the market, enough of these companies out here showing problems. IRBT. Wanted to look at this one this morning. It came out with earnings last night. Saw 57 cents this morning, so no big deal. But this thing is another one that could be looking fairly good at support levels. It took off with heavy volume on the 17th of December. Nice thing. Now it's finally getting back in and filling that gap. Pretty much going to fill that, 33.75. It's actually coming along. But a lot of these things are back at these and have pulled back to these lows and not showing a lot of weakness at the moment. That's why I'm thinking we're going to get a bounce out of this thing. If the bounce is on light volume, then the next time we come down, a good indication that some of these things are going to get hit. Korn Ferry International. I don't know, but what a weird name. What are the Korn Ferry? With a K, too, like the band. Provides talent management solutions that help clients to design strategies and building and attractive their talent. Boy, does that sound like a load. Anyway, Corn Ferry International, I'm sure they get their cash, but boy, doesn't that sound like just a bunch of fly-by-night scam artists, and especially the name, too. Anyway, this as a stock, not looking all that bad out here. It did have a nice high to 26.58. It's been rolling off back here to the side. There's two nice gaps that this thing has filled as of yesterday. Let's take a quick look and see how it's trading this morning. KFY. It's up 14 cents. So a lot of these, like I said, we're just looking at these. Not so much that I'm going to play them, but I'm watching to see at these lows how these things come back and test these lows. We've talked about pharmaceutical companies, and a lot of them are making lows, even on some of the pretty much. We've got Rich in Orlando and he is calling in. How you doing, Rich?
Good, Dave, and yourself?
I'm so busy and focused on this charts, I didn't see the IM up here.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Listen, right ahead.
In the past, you used to talk about Maxwell Technologies, and of course, it did nicely, and then of course, it really seemed like it got hit. But it seems like it's forming up again. I was wondering if you had any opinion on what's going on there. MXWL.
Yep. They are in a critical part of the alternative energy scene. The problem is that and the reason they got hit was that they had basically promised and said that they were going to get a lot of contracts, especially on these alternative hybrids. They got none, and pretty much everybody inside the company sold out, left. I need to see that they take to there's a term that I'll use in the Tech Insider all the time, and that is an order of magnitude. And I don't know if you've heard that before, but basically, if you want something to really move in technology, you want that order of magnitude. That means 10 times better or 100 times better, right? And there's a thing called energy density. These guys make a thing that is like a battery, but it's all solid state.
Wasn't a capacitor or something? They were in capacitors?
Supercapacitors. They are like batteries, but they don't use an electrolyte, no chemical, real chemical reaction has to come to get the energy back out of them. They can be basically totally charged within a few seconds, totally discharged in a few seconds, work from minus 50 to 200 degrees. They are everything we want. Now, the problem is what is known as energy density. If you wanted to run a car on some kinds of fuels, you may have to have something as big as a tanker behind you to hold that fuel. It's just not dense enough. And that is the problem. They haven't been able to get these things with the same kind of capacity that the battery would have in that same kind of space. And right now, it's gotten good. It's gotten better. And some of the thoughts are that at least graphene and some of these other new wonder single atom thick materials are going to allow the kind of density to where it could totally replace batteries. Batteries wear out. One of the reasons I hate Tesla. These guys are going to be looking at $20,000, $30,000 replacements for the battery packs. And it's all good and well, but you're going to have to take a second mortgage on your house to get them. The idea on this is they'd last 10, 15, 20 years and really wouldn't change in what they do over that time. They'd still work as good as the first day as they did probably 10 years from now. And so there's a lot of great things on them. All they have to do is be able to put more power in a smaller cubic foot amount of space.
Well, I guess what caught my eye was here in early this year. There was that sign of strength. Looks like the middle of January. Where
I think that's just all those. I just think it's the washout with all the people that used to be out there. I haven't seen hide nor hair of anything of them talking about getting that energy density that they need to go. So are they still selling units, especially to Russia? They make other things besides that. They sell things to satellites. They sell big transformers and other things to Russia and emerging markets, and some of that has come into them. So it's not that they're going bankrupt without this or that they're not selling supercapacitors today. this is a $200 company if they break the code and get an order of magnitude increase in the amount of energy they can put in a cubic foot.
You had mentioned, you had mentioned about the graphene, and I know in the past you've talked about. Are there any particular companies out there in that particular field that are worth looking at?
Not yet. It's all about applying and using graphene. Okay. And probably the company that's made the most money already over it is IBM by making graphene sensors that they're probably selling to the NSA because those can actually operate in the terahertz, not gigahertz range. And my guess is that some of the satellites we've seen up in the last year probably have those new sensors in them, but they'd be able to actually, on a clear day, read the text on a newspaper that you're holding in your hand electronically and look below Earth's crust and look for things like deeply built, what do you call them, not pillboxes, but bunkers, that kind of stuff in Iran. So my guess is that IBM has announced these sensors. My guess is that they're probably already in satellites already. But they haven't been able to make circuits. IBM did announce that they made a complete op-amp circuit the week before, out of graphene. And, just being able to have a laptop that lasts 2 weeks on totally, that's kind of the process or the promise of graphene in electronics. But already there's graphene film on things to keep people from stealing them or puncturing the plastic wrap on them. There's graphene in probably 30 different products, but it's all about using it. There's nobody with a graphene mine that's going to make a lot of money, and there's not anybody that's making graphene sheets that's probably going to make a lot of money. It's all how they use it, and this would be one of these things where a company that could use graphene could be worth 20 times what they are worth today. But not yet. I haven't seen any evidence. We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you, Dave.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman wave sequence. Using the Chapman wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
And as we come back, we're looking at the markets, and they've opened up fairly strongly this morning. I've been expecting a fairly decent bounce for a while. If you've been listening to my afternoon show, this is Dave White, sitting in for Tom Rhodes, by the way. And we've looked at a lot of these stocks, and I just saw so many of these things come back to gaps with high volume that I figured we're going to at least get a level of support for a while and probably a bounce in many of these parts of the market. But I normally look at volume a couple of times a day and compare it to what's going on, normally at 10 o'clock, which is just a few minutes, and see how much volume we have. I'd like to see probably 600 million shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape this morning by 10 o'clock, so 5 minutes? We've got about 400 million right now, so at least lighter volume so far to start the day off. When I start my show this afternoon, I'd like to see, if you wanted to be bullish, you'd probably want to see 2.4 billion shares at 2 o'clock. My guess is the run rate would put this at about 2.1 billion shares at that time. So we'll see how the volume develops, but pretty sure we're going to see 1780, 1785 out of this by next Wednesday. I expect it to stumble, kind of like a drunk, a little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit forward, a little left, a little right, and we're going to stumble up to that 1785 level with a couple of days up and a couple of days down and a couple of days side, right side, left side, and then we're going to get up there, and if the volume is all falling out by that level, then we're going to be looking for ABC downs in a lot of these stocks that bounced out of here now. Quick question kind of in the den was, how do we know about this? And somebody saying, is the NSA at your door? The reason that we know that these super terahertz satellites are in orbit is people have the equivalent of radar detectors. And if these things go off at pretty much regular intervals, you know there's a satellite over the top of your location. And the Russians are more than willing to let everybody know every time a satellite passes over their country, and the rest of them are too, but they don't turn them off when they go over our country. And a lot of scientific installations see these high terahertz signals being beamed down at them from outer space. It's pretty easy to figure out that, one, it's a satellite, and secondarily, what it's being used for. It's being used to image everything down below, and not uncommon out here. Anyway, we're going to look at some charts in the last couple of minutes. And again, go to the front page of TFNN and check out my special offer on my newsletter. If you like some of the charts I showed here, there is some new things we're going to be doing in it. And you can get a free 30-day trial by going to that. And just check it out on the front page of TFNN. And we're going to be getting into options and using options to trade equities over the next couple of weeks in it also. But most of these charts that I showed here this morning are going to be in that newsletter. You'll get that and a 15-page report on how to use options to trade it. We're going to end up with Lazy Boy out here this morning. Steve, you never could say that he was a lazy boy, always one of the hardest working men in show business here at TFNN. But LZB, when we look at that, has come back down, up 64 cents. But this is one that certainly is everything you want. It broke through previous resistance. It did it with high volume, 2.2 billion shares on the 20th of November. It's come back in. It basically touched part of the gap yesterday with 330,000 shares. Very tough not to say that this is exactly what you want if you are bullish. And maybe we get back up to that 3109, but I think we're setting up a lot of ABC downs in this market. Anyway, we've got Basil following me in the next half hour. You all have a safe, wonderful day.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com. Eastern legend tells of a fair maiden who was offered a rare gift by the king of the land, a bag of pearls. The king promised that she could keep the largest, most perfect pearl she could find with these 3 conditions. 1, choose only 1 pearl. 2, remove 1 pearl at a time, accept or reject it. And 3, if rejected, it would be lost forever. She began by looking at the pearls, passing on many special treasures. She delved deeper into the bag, and soon the pearls were replaced with pebbles. Sadly, she went home empty-handed. Folks, replace pearls with time, because we cannot go back even 2 seconds. We live in the eternal moment of now. So when now are you going to take advantage of my offer to you, a subscription to my daily investment newsletter service, Mastering Probability, where you can experience the most incredible pearls for trading and investing, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator and Strategy. The offer? It gets better. A 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't go home empty-handed. Mastering Probability. Available on the homepage of TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.